Hey there, friends. My name is Derek, and this is 3-Minute Thoughts, a simple daily rhythm where we take one chapter of the New Testament, slow down just enough to see what's really going on in it and what it might mean for our real lives today. Today, we're looking at Luke chapter 4. Right after his baptism, right after that powerful moment where a voice from heaven says, "You are my son whom I love," Jesus doesn't head straight into public ministry. He goes straight into the wilderness. 40 days, alone, hungry, and vulnerable. And that's where temptation shows up. The temptations themselves are interesting because they're not obviously evil. They're distortions of good things. Turn stones into bread. Use your power to meet your own needs. Bow down and gain the kingdoms of the world. Take influence the fast way. Throw yourself down from the temple. Force God to prove that He's God and He's with you. In other words, shortcuts. Power without suffering. Success without trust. Jesus resists each one, not with force, but with clarity. He keeps returning to Scripture. He keeps recentering on what is actually true. And eventually the devil leaves him for a time. Then Jesus returns to Galilee and begins teaching. People are impressed. His reputation spreads. But when he goes back to his hometown of Nazareth, things change. He reads from the prophet Isaiah, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me to proclaim good news to the poor, freedom for the captives, sight for the blind," that whole section. And then he says something bold. "Today this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." At first, people are intrigued. They scratch their heads. How can this be? But their intrigue quickly turns. Because Jesus reminds them that God's mercy in the past often reached outsiders, foreigners, people beyond their own tribe. And suddenly, their admiration turns to anger. That hometown crowd actually drives him out of town and tries to throw him off of a cliff. It's a pretty strange moment. The same message that inspires some people deeply unsettles others. And maybe that's one of the honest things about Jesus' life and teaching. It doesn't fit neatly inside our expectations. It challenges our power. It challenges our pride. It challenges the idea that we control what God's grace is for, who God's grace is for. Luke chapter 4 shows us two things. First, temptation comes often in the form of shortcuts, ways to get what we want without becoming who we're meant to be. Second, truth is rarely comfortable for everyone in the room. But Jesus stays steady through both. And maybe the question for us today is simple. Who are you being tempted to take? Where are you being tempted to take a shortcut? And where might truth be inviting you to stay grounded instead? Thanks for thinking deeply for these few minutes today. Be well, friends.